Welcome to another episode of Friday Tech Roundup. I'm Richie B. And this week, Microsoft dominates the news with their new lineup of Surface devices, as well as AMD quietly sneaking in a new processor to take on Intel. So let's dive right in and take a look. First up in the news this week, we have AMD, who quietly launched their new Ryzen Pro 3000 series chips. So it appears that AMD is not quite content taking on Intel in the high-end gaming space with its 3900X chips, or even the desktop workstation arena with Threadripper chips. It appears that AMD now has its sights firmly set on Intel's business desktop and laptop market, and Intel should be pretty worried. The reason for that is the new Ryzen chips match the 65-watt power envelope of their Intel rivals, but essentially are doubling the core count and have significantly higher multi-threaded performance. And in terms of pricing, whilst nothing has been released yet, the new chips are expected to be around a similar price point to the Intel counterparts, or even slightly cheaper. So watch out, Intel. It looks like AMD's coming for you again. Next up, we have Microsoft, who's dominated the tech news following their press event earlier this week. This is where they've officially revealed their latest Surface product lineup and the pricing, along with a few surprises. First of these Surface devices is the Surface Laptop 3. Which is due to be released on the 22nd of October. Basically, the new Laptop 3 will come in two different variants, a 13-inch model, which is going to be powered by the Intel Gen 10 CPU, and that's going to start at $999, or the equivalent in pounds. The other model is the 15-inch model. Now, this is quite interesting. This is being called the Ryzen 7 Surface Edition. Obviously, I think the name's a bit of a giveaway, and that's because it's being powered by a custom Ryzen 7 chip. Now, it's not a standard Ryzen 7 chip. It's a custom chip that they've worked with Microsoft to add in some extra AI bits and pieces. And that's going to be starting at $1,199, or the equivalent in pounds. Now, the other interesting thing about the Ryzen 7 is the GPU on it. It basically shares the same GPU as the Xbox One. So if you're looking to do a little bit of light gaming, then this should be pretty good. Next up from Microsoft, they shared information about the Surface Pro 7, which also launches on the 22nd of October at a starting price of $749. The new Surface Pro 7 isn't much to write home about, as it hasn't really differed that much from the previous models, and comes actually with a notable reduction in battery life. It seems that Microsoft is kind of taking their eye off the Surface Pro, as this latest update has been a little bit lackluster, a bit of a small incremental change. And it seems that Microsoft appear to be favouring or wanting to focus more on the new ARM-based model, which is called the Surface X. So the Surface X is Microsoft's new flagship Surface device, and it's based on a custom variant of the Snapdragon 8CX, which they again developed with Microsoft with a few extra AI bits and pieces in. It's expected to deliver similar performance to an Intel i5. I think the 8250U is the model that they referenced. The difference being that it's going to draw about half the power at 7 watts versus 15 of the traditional chip from Intel. So that in itself should give the new Surface X about 13 hours real-time usage. So if you're looking to buy a new Surface tablet right now, which one should you buy? should you buy the Surface Pro 7, which is available now, or hang fire for the X model? Personally, I would go for the Surface Pro 7. Whilst there hasn't been many changes since the last model, you do get a full-blown Intel chip, and I'm not a big fan of trying to run Windows applications on ARM processors because there does tend to be a lot of compatibility issues. So for the sake of a little bit less battery power, it seems like a bit of a no-brainer to stick with the Surface Pro 7. So not sure where the Model X actually fits in here really, but I guess obviously Microsoft are pushing that hard, so they must have a reason for it. On the software side of things, Microsoft has also announced Windows 10X this week, which is slated for a 2020 release date. They haven't given any specific dates yet, but the new variant of the Windows 10 OS is designed specifically for dual screen devices, such as Microsoft's new kind of Surface platforms, which are slated for next year, which is the Surface Neo and the Surface Duo. So at Microsoft's press event this week, they obviously announced the Surface Duo and the Surface Neo. And unfortunately, there's not really a lot of information about them, other than one's kind of designed as a dual screen phone and the other one appears to be kind of more laptop orientated and a possible kind of future replacement to the aging Surface design, where they haven't changed it much. I think kind of that's the direction that they're going to take with this. So this kind of ties nicely in with the Windows 10X. It'll be interesting to see how well these are adopted next year when they come out. But again, they are slated for a 2020 release, but again, no further information as to when. Last up, we have a bit of gaming news from Microsoft. As this week's seen, Microsoft released a pre-alpha video footage of Flight Simulator 2020. Now, over the years, many years in fact, I've spent a lot of time growing up on Flight Simulator, all the way back to Flight Sim 3, which I think was in the late 80s or the early 90s. And obviously, if you can compare the two, it's amazing how far we've come in such a few years, graphically wise. So I've got a picture here comparing the two, but it's interesting to see the footage from the new one, as it looks absolutely fantastic. So I'll be keeping a close eye on that. Well, that about wraps up the news for this week. If you liked the video, give it the big thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, come on, give it a thumbs up. It's free, doesn't cost you anything. As usual, leave a comment in the section below. And please do remember to subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell notification icon. That way you'll be notified when I release new videos. So hopefully I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Bye now.